Hello and welcome back to the Bad Movie Reviews channel, hosted by none other than your two favourite people whose souls are probably somewhere else. But we don't know. I'm getting worse and worse at these. But
I actually didn't mind that one. That was all right.
Other than that, we are reviewing a film that I know I've been looking forward to when we covered our trailer reaction for it. It is none other than Talk to Me, which is a Australian horror film directed by Danny Philippou and Michael Philippou, who, for anyone who doesn't know, they are very popular, I guess, worldwide, but within Australia, they are none other than your Rucka Rucka on YouTube. But they have directed this, and A24 has picked it up and
First film?
distributing it. It is their first full-length feature film, and we were lucky enough to catch this early. One of our one of our cinemas locally had a screening. I think it's due out end of July here, with none other than an introduction from the boys themselves, which wish them all the success. For anyone who doesn't, I guess, know, us Aussies really get around other Aussies succeeding.
It was really great actually seeing them on their introduction. Also be like, fuck, Aussies are great cunts, aren't they? I was like, oh, geez, all right.
Language.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
It was good to see. But I guess in terms of the plot, we'll keep it bare bones. It's about a group of friends in an Australian town that essentially have a white hand that basically, when you say talk to me, it transports you to
the trailer does summarize the plot
forces.
pretty well.
Yeah, if you haven't, I'm just more sort of like meaning if you haven't watched the trailer, but I mean, we'll get straight into it. What did you overall think of the film?
You know me with horror. Anyone that watches me,
you're a sadistic person.
Yeah, I really like it, and because I watch a lot of content related to it, before I go to bed, I have very high expectations, which is usually very unfair for a lot of these films because they have a lot of probably
it's such a weird thing to do though. To be fair, because horror films are generally not good, so high expectations is a downfall.
Yeah, which I think a lot of that comes from my love for more horror-related video games than horror-related content itself. But I actually fucking love this film. I never know what I'm expecting with it, but I know it's something that we watched the trailer and we're actually kind of hyped for. And for myself, I was actually very keen for this, but still kind of hesitant. This I thought was great under every aspect of what I put down as a great film. The acting was phenomenal by all the cast involved. It's also great to hear some Aussie accents and also kind of a bit weird too. You never realise how
so much. Yeah, you consume
westernized
so much.
everything is until you watch a full Australian film and every single person in it is, and it's
it is a bit it is a bit jarring because for obviously if you're watching this in America, UK, wherever you're watching. When you are Australian and everything you watch, whether it be TV, movies, is westernised, whether they've got a British accent, even of foreign film, American, you don't generally watch a lot of Australian stuff. So when you do see it, it is kind of a bit
jarring
odd.
is the right word, I think. Yeah,
you're kind of like, oh, okay.
It was great to see. I thought,
but yeah, nonetheless,
everyone was great in this film. The actors there, was it Sophie Wilde, Joe Bird, Alexandra Jensen. Otis
Danji,
Daniel, and some other nice supporting cast throughout that. They were, I thought, pretty fantastic. I don't know if they were all at a really exceptional level, but everyone was at a very high level that had complemented every part of this film. I thought some of the shots were absolutely gorgeous, and some of the stuff was very unique too, which I'd like to point out that they had their own take on it all. And it was the same with the plot. It wasn't just a typical kind of plot that everyone was familiar with. It goes in its own direction. It actually has a nice, unique story to tell. And for me, watching this film, it was 3/4 way through, and I was like, all right, if they make some slight adjustments to this plot, which they can do if they were to make a sequel, for example, they could actually create a pretty good series, I feel out of it. It's got a nice premise there for a lot of ongoing storytelling.
I hope they don't though.
No. But you know what I'm saying? Like Annabelle's got its unique character, and even though the themes are the same across a lot of the films, it's got such a great point to grab onto and build a foundation for future films off. And this for me had a lot to go on. So props to all that. And I thought the score was amazing on this film. I loved it. From not just score, audio design, but the score definitely complemented the film itself and all the scenes that were going on. But the audio design, there was a lot of like depth and a lot of weight and a lot of passion. There wasn't any of that for me. I don't really like when you get the music that leads up to like the tense moments. You know, when you got like you start to hear like the harp humming.
Well, you 90% of the time it usually goes silent.
Yeah, well, you get one or the other, right? And then it was like, you know, sometimes you get something, sometimes you didn't, but it didn't like seem overused. It felt very original, which I liked in this film. And yeah, beautifully shot. Cinematography was great. Some of the shots were gorgeous. And as I said, there was some stuff too, which was very uniquely filmed. But I liked this film overall. This will end up probably, I think, one of my favorite horror films. Probably, even if it's not like exceptional under everyone's books, for me, it did a lot of things that I don't think a lot of films have done well recently within the horror ones. For myself, that is, with that unrealistic expectation I had. So I give it some extra props because it beat a lot of it and it was great. But look, I'll throw it over to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Talk to me.
Okay, and we're going to end the review right there. No. I kind of am struggling to find the word. I actually am not, recency bias aside, like not only just horror film, I actually think this is probably one of my favorite films of 2023 so far.
Yes, I'm glad you're on the same page as me.
To start off, I do want to acknowledge, as you said, it is a very Australian film. I would like to know how it is for, Americans or anyone overseas to it, because it is a very Australian film. We have when you watch a few of these, we have a very unique
art
style to our, not so much art style, but it's more so much like all the films are raw. Like they lean so much into sound design, as you touched on.
Yep.
Obviously the dialogue's quite raw. The way the
I didn't even touch on
the way the film's shot as well. It is very like, it's not, steady cam the whole time. Like it just feels a lot more weighty. And for anyone who, like, if you go look at any Australian film, they're always really fucked up premises, to be honest. So
yes,
we don't make any happy-go-lucky films. It's always, abductions, murders,
racism.
Maybe. I don't know. But no, to touch on the plot, I got to give it huge props here. It is a completely original, it felt very original premise. And it is something that's very unique, and you actually find yourself sitting there, and it is very grounded in the way it deals with it as well. It's very realistic in the sense where you actually kind of sit there and be like, I can very much see how this is...
That's what I forgot to add, relatable.
I can very much see how this is something that, in this situation, that might be a place you go down.
Yeah.
For sure. But in terms of pros, the directing... I cannot wait to see what these boys do in the future. It is so well shot. It is a beautiful looking film. Some of the unique camera techniques that they use, especially when they are getting like possessed, is really awesome. Like you see the one in the trailer where they go talk to me and like they lean back in the chair and the camera like quickly whips and it's like, and then just the unique takes they have during that whole sequence is really unique.
Complemented by the lighting too. I didn't touch on that also. Like also supported those shots.
Everything in terms of the beat, like the behind the scenes, is fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future. But it really comes down as well to Sophie Wilde, who's the main actress in the film Mia. I genuinely thought this is probably one of the best performances of the year. She is like absolutely fantastic, sells every scene. And when you are doing a film like this, it is obviously very difficult in terms of your performance because it is a very physical performance as well. It heavily relies on physical disfiguration, things like that. So she did a phenomenal job there. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a really horrifying movie by any means. Like but it is seriously like unsettling and creepy at times, and it builds the tension perfectly and seamlessly throughout the whole film. But I think what really worked for me is, apart from just being creepy and a scary film, it had everything else for it as well. It did have emotional weight to the film. It did have comedy as well, which I like. If a film can make me laugh and then scare the shit out of me, well, not scare the shit out of me, but make me feel very uncomfortable within 3 minutes later, you're getting mad props from me.
If you watch any of our previous reviews, if you can just make me laugh, it gets extra props, which you did do.
But I genuinely don't really have any faults here. Like I thought it was a brilliant brilliant film everything behind the camera in terms of the plot, the way it deals with it'll be up there with like Hereditary and Get Out for me, where they're films that aren't horrifying by any means, but they've had a great plot with great performances that have deeper lying meanings. And you sit here and you look at you look at the deeper thematical side of things, where it is talking about life and death and how that all, if that makes sense. I don't know where I was kind of going with that, but
I can understand.
When you watch the film, it does kind of go into, life and
Life, death, everything in between.
yeah, that was essentially what I was trying to say. But no, I give this film major props. I genuinely absolutely adored it. I hope people do go see this film because it is an independent Australian film, and I'm sure it'll make a lot of money. It's gotten great buzz out of Sundance and all the film festivals that's shown it. But I just hope it does make the money. There is some serious talent here behind not only the actors, which we haven't really seen before, but obviously the Philippou brothers who have directed the film. I cannot wait to see what they do next because they are seriously talented.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So, but if you have seen it, let us know what you think below in the comments. Other than that, subscribe and we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.